is up, everyone? We're back at the end of February. It's the 24th here. We got a full house on a Saturday show. We got a four-man booth. Kurt and I had a couple up to lock shows during the week. That was fun for Tuesday and Wednesday. I think the shows were more fun than the slates, the way that they went, for me at least. Kurt, we'll bring you in first. What's going on, man? How was your week? Kurt's starting on mute. Unbelievable, dude.
Okay. All right. Redo it. It's pretty good. Tuesday was better than Wednesday, but always fun to kind of get some of the NBA guys in. I wish I took more advantage of it, but back with a full house today, ready to get after it for we're 1 week closer, boys. 1 week closer. Let's get it.
I know, Gav, we're only a couple weeks out from Vegas. We've got two guys in here that have won a seat since our last Saturday show. Gav, you are one of them. I know that that was weighing on you a bit. How you feeling?
Oh, yeah, better that I got the damn seat, but I'm finally glad we brought somebody on the show who actually knows what the hell they're talking about.
That's debatable, based on how things went, at least earlier this week. Alex Turtle's here. Congrats on the seat last night. So you agreed to do the show, and you got one seat since that agreement. How you feeling?
Yeah, I guess it was a good idea. I don't know. I won the Make-A-Wish slate yesterday, so we'll take it. Really gross slate, but hey, it's been that definitely weighed on me a bit this year, not having a seat. So glad to have one and glad to be here. It's a fun slate, lots of options, so we'll talk through them.
Yeah, last night was pretty greasy. I was happy to see you pull that out. I did not play the queue, and I'm glad I didn't because my team was not very good last night. Alex is with us. He works over at Establish the Run. He's going to also be doing some college hoops content for March. I'm not sure if it's just for the tournament or if it's going to be for conference tournaments. Do you want to talk about that real quick, Alex?
Yeah, just NCAA tournament games. So it's a pretty 3-week package, projection shows, ownership, articles, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for more college basketball DFS content, yeah, check out what we have going on at Establish the Run. But yeah, should be fun. March will be here before we know it. A couple weeks till Selection Sunday, so all good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing college hoops DFS on the tournament, I would suggest having both of our information going in because there's a lot of games each day, a lot to take in. So
yeah, I mean, you're gonna find something of value and between the different packages. So yeah. It's a short time, lots of slates, lots of action, lots of props to bet on. So
yeah,
information's good.
We're going live for you, 2 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, March 11th. We're supposed to be getting sports betting here in NC. So exciting times.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 12 games to get to here. We got a full booth, so we got to get going here. Gav, as always, we'll start with you on each game. We kick off with an interesting one, at least DFS-wise. Arkansas back on the slate. Mizzou at Arkansas here. I'm seeing Arkansas -4.5, 145.5 total to kick us off, Gav. A couple of injury spots to monitor. Well, injury/news spots on Arkansas as usual. What do you got for us on this one?
Yeah, rematch of the 91-84 game that Arkansas won, 76 possessions. So that's obviously implying a lot more scoring and efficiency than kind of the current total. But yeah, Mizzou's in just a shit spot. 0-13 in the conference. Last time Arkansas played at home, they got waxed by Tennessee. So yeah, we know what's going to happen here. Missouri, as they have in like the past 2 years, is going to zone Arkansas at a super high rate. Last game, Arkansas was 1.2 points per possession. I don't expect that to sustain. But that being said, Arkansas is going to run a ton of pick and roll too when they're not in zone. Missouri's terrible at defending it, so it gives kind of a bump to not only the roll men, but some of the pick and roll ball handlers. And yeah, it's Arkansas, so shit, we're going to have some value, and it's going to be hairy value.
Yeah, Kurt, let's talk about the Arkansas guys here. Seems like every slate that they're on, big decisions to be made. I think Khalif Battle is probably my favorite. I think just him seeing 30+ minutes. I feel reasonable about. Do you have any confidence in the Arkansas guys here? We don't have great value on the slate overall.
Yeah, so just want to make sure Menifield's out again because, I mean, you could have him somewhat back. Like he could come back in, and all of a sudden you got Pinion back in the rotation for 5 to 7 minutes, and then it becomes like Oh God, here we go again. And then Devo was in foul trouble last game, is what I saw, right? Or is that?
Yeah, early fouls.
He got 3 early fouls, and then Musk just said, "All right, screw you." I mean, yeah, got to be battle if you're picking one, but just know that it's not the. I feel like a lot are just gonna plug it in and just go about their day. I would be careful doing that, but if you're making me pick, it's probably battle, and then it's tough behind that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm probably going to have more channel loss and shares just because I'm waiting for Mitchell to keep fouling, and he just doesn't foul. He keeps 1 for 40 every fucking slate. This is like 150 max type play, not any main team stuff as far as Lawson goes.
Yeah, Turtle, do you have any read on this Arkansas situation? Every time it feels like we kind of do, he rug pulls us. I think I'm most confident in battle, and then obviously Tremont Mark up top at 7-7. But like Lawson, Davenport, these guys are in play just because of the context of the slate, I think.
Yeah, obviously we need the news on Graham and Minifield. I think they both play, and I think Brazil doesn't play. And if that happens, I probably won't play any Arkansas on my main team just because there's too many bodies there. My favorite spot in the game really is Mitchell. Like Mizzou, terrible on the boards. They'll play a lot of zone. I think they'll give up a lot of offensive rebounds. Mizzou doesn't really draw a lot of fouls either. So I think it's just a spot where if Mitchell gets minutes, he's just gonna smash. But that's definitely just a tournament play. So I think we're all kind of on the same page. We're pretty pessimistic. Like, I mean, anything can happen here. So the news is important.
Yeah, back-to-back 40s on DK for Mitchell has avoided fouls more than I thought he would. I just have it in my head that every time he plays, he's going to foul. But yeah, he's an awesome tourney play. Gavin, any thoughts on the Arkansas guys for DFS? And then we haven't touched on any Mizzou. Do you like anything there?
Was Lawson a forward last slate, or was he a guard? Am I losing it? No, he wasn't forward, but I mean, he was on the winner and he played 3 minutes in the second half. He played 17 of the first half. Don't like him, obviously, if Brazil plays. And then, yeah, on the Mizzou side, like, you want to mix in a Sean Easter, a Tamar Bates, I'm fine with it, but definitely not guys that I'm looking to build around. Probably more last man in types or more leverage type plays off other ownership in the range.
Yeah, it's a news heavy spot here. Let's keep it moving. We got Indiana at Penn State. High total here, 151. Gavin, Penn State's -4. I grabbed Penn State at open. I'm not sure if you did as well. Obviously, they're without Kanye Clary here. But the team overall might be better without him. We've seen Zach Hicks step up. Nick Kearns played well in his absence. What do you got for us here, Gav?
Yeah, just generally with Claire, I think the ball's sticking a lot less. I think keeping it in Ace's hands is leading to a lot higher percentage shots than, the Clary contested mid-range. But yeah, Indiana's really, man, 3 straight losses. They got crushed at Mackey. They fought Northwestern hard at home, but lost, and then they just got melted by Nebraska last game. So now it's like the full alarm is out for Woodson. Penn State, off the Illinois win where they trailed by 7 with a minute left and scored 8 unanswered, including getting fouled by Coleman Hawkins on a 3 at the end of the game. And it's just ridiculous.
Wild.
But Penn State, second highest pick and roll frequency in the country. Indiana, 242nd points per possession defending pick and roll. So, yeah, Ace at home against a horrible perimeter defense. He's in a great spot. He himself has had games of like 13, 15, 18 pick and roll possessions himself. Really good spot for him. Indiana needs to take care of the ball. They turn it over at the 11th worst rate in the Big Ten. Penn State obviously turning folks over via the press. So
yeah,
that's the path. I agree. Penn State probably pretty good spot just with the direction that Indiana's headed.
Yeah, Kurt, really good spot for the studs here. Ace Baldwin, Khalil Ware, and Renew. Could be a really good steal spot for Ace as well. We've seen him rack up steals. We know he's going to play all 40 minutes. I think he's played all 40 in every game that Clary has missed. What do you like here, Kurt?
Yeah, so DVP spots here, pretty simple. You play bigs versus Penn State, and you attack the backcourt of Indiana. So I think Ace Baldwin is a fine spend up. Khalil Ware's a fine spend up. I want at least one of Renew or Ware in most of my builds. That's kind of one of the rules I did. And it's hard to get the second. And they price up these Penn State guys as far as
I know.
like Kearns is above 6K, Hicks above 6K, Dunn's not really playing enough. Jamel Brown, if you have to take a shot here, I'll probably keep him in the pool for about 10% in case he chucks threes and makes a lot of them. But besides that, it's pretty cut and dry here. I'm not playing the guard roulette for Indiana. They all suck.
Yeah, they do. Turtle, are you getting any, like, do you have any preferences in the spends in this game between like Ace, Ware, Renew, and then anyone else on Penn State for you here? I've been playing some Zach Hicks, but he's up to 6'4" now. It's getting a bit uncomfortable above 6K there, I think.
Yeah, I'd rank them Ware 1, Baldwin 2, Renault 3. We see, Renault's fine. I would probably only play both Renault and Ware if I'm like going after a pretty deep game stack, which I typically don't do, but this game I could see it happening. I think Kern and Hicks are my favorite two Penn State guys to include in that kind of stack. So I think you could play both Ware and Renault, but in my main lineup, I will probably just have one of them. And Baldwin's definitely interesting as well. It's just hard to allocate so much of your salary to one game on such a big slate where so many studs can crush. So definitely something to think through.
Yeah, it's a great slate for studs here. Wish the value was a bit better so we could get access to more of them. Gav, any last thoughts here? Do you have a preference between Ware and Baldwin?
I think that Ace is actually probably a little bit more safer, like from a floor perspective, but I just, Kalal Ware just has one of the biggest ceilings in college basketball, in such a smash spot. So, yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I think they're more like 1A, 1B than kind of 1 and 2. Not much else to add really on either the Penn State side. Like I'm not really playing a Wahab. Nobody really else interests me.
Yeah, I mean, Ware's going to have crazy upside when he's playing 36, 38 minutes with his style of game. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the Big 12 here. Houston at Baylor, huge game. Gav, Houston sitting at -2.5. I'm pretty sure it's hung right around there since open. 135 total here. What do we got?
Yeah, Houston 4 straight wins. They didn't cover versus Iowa State, but they kind of had them held at bay, I think, for a good portion of that game. Baylor's off the pretty predictable loss at BYU. They shot 25% from 3 and got out-rebounded 39-30, which was kind of inverse of what happened when those two teams faced off in Waco. The worry here with Houston, man, is like, God, they can foul the shit out of people with that just frenetic style of defense they play. 318th in defensive free throw rate now on the road versus a team that's top 25 in free throw rate in Baylor. I think the one thing that goes in Houston's favor is that so much of Baylor's offense is predicated around Ray J. Dennis creating, whether it's in the ball screen game or in some form off the bounce, ISO, whatever the case may be. And shit, he probably has the best on-ball point guard defender in the country, and Jamal Shed teeing him up. So that could kind of stagnate a lot of the Baylor offense. So it's pretty bad schematically for them. Not really the best DFS spot. You might be able to pick off like 1 or 2 guys here, but I don't know if I'm really looking to play more than any of that in any one lineup.
Yeah, I took the Houston -2.5 here. I'm just going to be betting them against basically any team that I don't also view as a top 5 team. And like Gavin said, the matchup with Ray J having Shed on him, I really like for Houston. Current DFS wise, we like to play Houston in games where they're going to be pushed. They're a 2.5-point fave here, so we should see max minutes for everyone. Shed's been priced up. He's earned it though. He's been awesome. I played some LJ Cryer last Saturday. I think it's another decent spot for him. I just always like him for tournaments when he's around that 6K spot and not closer to 7. What do you like?
God, I can't find a single main team play or even like 3 max. If you're building 3, I don't like anyone in this game, to be honest. It will kind of be poetic to see Jacob Walter have his game in this game of all games. I could just see that happening and tilting my face off.
It's not happening.
I mean, it's going to happen in a dumb spot, though, for sure. Like a spot where it shouldn't. As far as Houston, I think they're priced appropriately. We always know Roberts has a high upside, but I don't know. It's not the low 6Ks, so mostly a pass here. Maybe you all have a diamond in the rough, but I'm good on this game.
Yeah, Turtle, is there anything that stands out here I know that you like to play Houston guys in spots like this where they're actually going to be pushed, but still a pretty low total in the context of the slate overall.
Yeah, full avoid on Baylor on all my lineups. Everyone in this game is pretty fully priced. So for me, it's a max 1 Houston guy, and I'll probably only have like Roberts, Francis, Cryer in that pool. It's just not a spot to pay 8,800 for Shed, in my opinion, with other options on the slate. But yeah, max 1 Houston.
Yeah, agreed there. I think it's Roberts or Cryer. Any last words here, Gav? Any other plays that we're not seeing?
Yeah, I love Jawan Roberts in the spot. Off a foul game and off a blowout back to back. The game before put up 31 against Cincy. That'll definitely do it. 6.6K. What do we just take his rebounds over 6.5 or something like that? So I like that as well. Nothing more to add. I think we hit on these.
Yeah, I love that rebound prop for Juwan. If he doesn't foul here, he should get 7+. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the ACC. Notre Dame, Syracuse. DK, we don't have to have every game on the slate.
What are they doing? They could easily make like an 8 or 9 game slate, and like more casual people will play. There's like 4 games on the slate that just don't need to be there.
Yeah,
The 4 o'clock games, like I don't know, 4 o'clock games.
Or if you wanted 12 games, cut this game and add in the Bama game. That's like an hour. Yeah,
would have been the nuts.
Yeah, Gav. Betting markets, we got Syracuse -6. It's a Notre Dame game, so the total is going to be low, 134 here, 340th in tempo for Notre Dame. Any game notes?
Yeah, Cuse off the bounce back win, at NC State. That's a pretty damn good win, man. NC State's been feisty. Now on the second leg of the road back to back, but now come back home. So, that being said, they're also 1-3 ATS in the conference as a home favorite of 3 or more, like they are in the spot. Schematically matches up pretty well for Notre Dame. 30th best defensive rim frequency, and we know that Syracuse is very predicated on getting downhill with Judah Mintz, getting Starling, going downhill. Also, Notre Dame, for good or for worse, highest ISO rate in the country. A lot of that is Burton himself, and Q's 339 ISO defense point per possession. Just not great individual defenders. So yeah, I kind of lean Notre Dame. But that being said, we might be able to pick off a spot. We've been trying to play the Syracuse guys in recent slates. Don't really know if this is the best spot to do it, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've been involved betting-wise in a Notre Dame game, maybe all season. Kurt, DFS-wise, we've got Mintz and Malik Brown on the Syracuse side, 2 studs that, get it done in way different ways. But in a game like this, do we really want to be spending our salary there? Do you have any plays from this game?
This is another very, very rough one. It's kind of like the last game, where just they're priced appropriately. Probably a better game environment, even though the totals are similar, I guess. But both teams are just very, very bad. Shrewsbury with a 17%, almost 18% shot rate last 3. If you put a gun to my head, maybe. Or maybe you just take a punt, but I don't like this game at all. God, Notre Dame's rotation is pretty deep.
I thought you were gonna say just take a bullet. So
oh yeah, I probably would, honestly. My God, it's bad. Yeah, I'm gonna see what the projections give me, but as far as like my hand builds, full cross off of this game, probably the Houston game too, honestly.
Yeah, well, speaking of projections, what do the projections say here, Turtle, on this one?
My stuff doesn't like this game at all. Q's is priced up after some pretty crazy performances. Like if Chris Bell's going to hit 8 threes again, like that might be okay, but he's 6,900. Can't play that.
God, please no.
I would be like a max 1 of these gross Notre Dame guys. Like there's not much value. So like one of their forwards, like Tay Davis or Kevin Jai, like they're not going to project well, but like they have at least paths to 30 minutes and scoring 20 fantasy points, which is better than you can say about most value on the slate. So rough game.
Yeah, it's true. Gav, let's go to you. It's a guy that doesn't project well that you like. That sounds up your alley. Anything here?
You thought I was memeing Kevin and Jai before the game. We've talked about Syracuse has been like 330th in the country in rebounding ever since Naheem McLeod went out, even if he himself sucks. they're still just hemorrhaging on the glass. So like if Njai's gonna play 29, even 30 plus minutes, he's got some block upside with the way that Syracuse puts pressure on the rim. He's going to fall into 5-6 rebounds, 6 to 8 points, block and a steal, couple rebounds. He'll threaten 20. I think at that price, he's fine for me. I don't even hate him playing on a main team, honestly.
Do you like him over Tay Davis at the same price?
I think so. I think there's just a little bit better minute certainty. The wings for Notre Dame can get a little hairy. You got Conesi, you got Imes, you got Roper. There's just a lot of bodies that they can throw out there. Shrewsbury, obviously. So I'd probably be in Njai over Davis.
Cool. All right, let's move on. We got Vandy at Florida. Vandy, about 16-point dogs here to Florida, Gav, 151 total. Florida off that insane game during the week that went to OT. Back at home here. What do we got game-wise, Gav?
Yeah, Vandy off the Georgia loss. That was 6 points off the Ken Palm number. Game was a pick when they had Georgia -6. You didn't let me bet Georgia, and I fucking hate you for it. It threatened our friendship. But now they're back on the road, where they're 1-4-1 ATS in the conference, Vanderbilt. The worst SEC adjusted defensive efficiency, second worst offense. And Florida off the game where they let Bama in Tuscaloosa like the whole way. And lost late. So, there's like a 100-spot difference for Vandy on Ken Palm versus shot quality, which just kind of shows like they're just a shit team. When you just can't make baskets, it's hard to win basketball games. That's the kind of hard-hitting analysis you come to this show for. That being said, Vandy, 26th highest transition rate allowed, and we know Florida 6th highest in the country. They're going to want to push. I mean, this could be Florida by axe murder right here if they really wanted to.
What about like a team total here, Gavin? I see like 84-ish for Florida.
That could be pretty interesting for sure. They could struggle on the defensive end, like running the double big lineup where Vandy's going to run shooters through a bunch of screens. They might have switchability issues, but that's really the only thing I can try to nitpick about it.
Yeah. All right. So DFS-wise, Kurt, Florida, they were popular during the week. They've got another big team total here, but we've got some price hikes, especially for Walter Clayton, who just flamed the slate on, I think it was Wednesday. Any DFS interest here for Florida? And then Vandy's basically, it's Magnon, it's Lawrence, it's Lubin, and a hodgepodge of guys behind that.
This is a scary one because it's most likely going to be like Florida covers, and it's not even close to coming down the stretch. But in that scenario where it is close down the stretch, like let's say Vandy just shoots like ungodly or something. I mean, how many guys would you want from this game? If I told you under 1 minute mark at the 4-point game, how many guys would you want from this game? 3 maybe? I mean, and honestly, so like probably definitely one of the Vandy guys, probably 2 of the Florida guys. It's hard to play roulette with their forwards, but Kugel or Richard probably had a good game. Probably more likely Richard is what the men's have been lately. But even with the priced up guards, one of them probably do enough if the game does go close. But like I said, it's the more likely scenario is the blowout, and you just kind of hope one of the Vandy guys gets you there. I like having one of them. It's just they just seem to always just grind at least to somewhat 3 or 4x for me. So I'll probably play one of Magnon or Lawrence. Lubin's pretty solid too. Not doing any of their punts or whatever they do with their fifth starter. For Florida, I've not really got Florida right all year, but yeah, I'll let you all take over Florida.
Yeah, Turtle, I've been kind of avoiding Florida on main lineups just because it's hard to sift through their top 3 guys, and you got to pay for them, right? Do you have any takes there on this game? It's a wide spread. Makes me a bit nervous to spend on the Florida guys here.
Yeah, I won't have any Florida in my main lineup, but that's not to say they can't get there. It's just you don't know where to go with that. Certainly sprinkle them in tournament lineups, but I think for one of their main guys to like hit a super high ceiling, Vanderbilt has to keep it relatively close. I think Magnon's a decent price. On paper, he has somewhat of an exploitable matchup. Like Florida's not great points per possession versus ball handler and ball screens. They're below average ISO possessions. That's kind of where Magnon lives offensively. I think if he has a good game, it will kind of obviously raise the the ceiling of the Florida starters. So
Yeah.
correlating in that regard, I think makes sense on like a 17-point spread. But in terms of a main team, it probably ends up being a pass, even though this game has a lot of points where upside can be reached.
Yeah, I mean, he just scored 27.75, only taking 4 shots last game. Besides the Tennessee blowout, Gav, he's played 37, 35, and 36 minutes in the last 3. Mignon, that is. I have some interest there at 6.6. I haven't played that much of him this season. Do you have any read there, Gav? And then anything else that you like in this game, DFS-wise?
Yeah, Manning is fine. I think I'd probably prefer Tyron Lawrence maybe a little bit more. Take the 700 savings.
He hasn't done dick, man.
And I think the shot
today
is probably a little bit safer. I mean, you look at someone like, dude, do we think Hand-Lockton's gonna get owned today?
Probably not.
Because I mean, like, I'll tell you what, if he's gonna play 31 minutes, Hand-Lockton is gonna lay his fucking log on the slate way more often than he's not. So
Shout out
you can
Marshall.
predict the 30-minute spot. Good. It's obviously tough to predict which one because it can be pretty roulette-y with that forward rotation. Like, you know, we've even seen Tom Howe, the Aussie, have some decent blow-up spots recently. So, yeah, I think taking stabs at these Florida forwards feels like I haven't gotten Tyrese Samuel right all year. So, you know, when I'm not playing him, he's probably in to smash this game. Yeah, I think they're more GPP plays than anything for me.
Yeah, I think the Florida guys are good plays for the Q, especially Hand-Lockton, like you said. I think Manning is the best overall play from the game, if I had to say. All right, let's keep moving. West Virginia visits Iowa State. Wow, there's kind of a death spot here for West Virginia here, Gav. Iowa State laying 18 at home and a 143 total. What do you got here?
Yeah, West Virginia, you know, they finally got their damn win. And, God, it was such a good spot. I know Gajeski bet it. I should have bet it. The West Virginia is a dog to UCF at home.
Yeah.
You know, they also shot 50% from 3 versus UCF's 23% on 38 3 attempts. Like, so to win by 10 with that kind of shooting splits is pretty, you know, anomaly-ish to me. But, you know, Iowa State off the loss at Houston but covered. Now they're a game back. You know, is there a path where, you know, they're still 300 to win the Big 12? I don't even know if I hate that much. But yeah, I mean, you don't really win, much less cover in Ames. They're 5-1 ATS at home in Big 12 play this year, 10-5 over the last 2 years with odds. West Virginia team total, boy, do we think they hit 60 in this spot? I'd be pretty surprised if they did. I think I could be getting in on a team total under for them.
Yeah, well, Kurt talks about his plays. I'm going to pull up what that current number is. Kurt, DFS-wise, we've got Lipsy at 6-7 at home with an 80 team total. He has really screwed us since coming back from injury, kind of ceding some usage to the other guys, Curtis Jones, Gilbert, guys like that. Any DFS plays for you here from this one, Kurt?
All right, so I've jinxed the word lock on this show. So do you ever want to lock in here and understand where I'm going with this? Tamin Lipsky is absolutely not a lock. He is the worst play on the slate. Tamin Lipsky will fail today. He will foul. He will not get you there. Okay, everyone, look at the camera.
Tamin who?
Okay, Tamin Lipsky is the worst player on the slate. He is absolute lips. Do not play Lipsy. Look at the camera. Okay,
he is absolute lips.
All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not playing West Virginia. Iowa State second in defensive efficiency. There's no way. They're a shit show. If you don't play Lipsy, probably play Curtis Jones, aka me. And then one of the bigs are fine too. I never get these bigs right. Trey King seems the one that had the best ceiling, so I'll put him in my MME pool.
Gavin, I'm seeing 63.5 team total on West Virginia. I'm taking
that's getting bet under.
I'm betting that right now. We just got confirmation Xavier Johnson's still out for Indiana. I think we already had that projected.
Game Cup season.
He is going to get eaten alive by Ace Baldwin, that is for sure. All right, Turtle. DFS plays here. Big spread, wide spread. Lipsy has let us down, but you're going to project great here. What do you think?
Yeah, as you know, I've been a Lipsy hater the last month, but it might be time to jump back on. It might just be like a situation where I play him in my main team cash games and be definitely under the field in tournaments. I don't know. I hate taking that approach because it's just the price is so cheap and the matchup is so good. Like he could play 28 minutes, get 25, not even play well, and be totally fine on the slate. So that's the challenge point. Like what does he have to do to fail? Like, I mean, if he gives you mid-20s, it's probably fine. Maybe not for tournaments, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even in his foul games, he's gotten to 20-25, right? And this is like you said, about as good of a matchup as you can draw up in the conference. I'm
not too worried about fouls and stuff. West Virginia does draw some fouls, but I don't know. My bigger concern is them just like this game getting out of hand and Lipsy playing like 26, 28 minutes, but I don't know.
Could see that too. Anything else in this game that you like, Turtle? We see Jesse Edwards' price is down a bit. I might just kind of wait and hopefully that his price keeps falling. Him coming off playing 30 plus minutes, super encouraging for the stretch run though.
Yeah, I'm off West Virginia. I think it's tough ask there. I do think Keshawn Gilbert and Curtis Jones are pretty elite tournament plays. I would not play Lipsy with them. Definitely.
Gav, your last up here. Thoughts on Lipsy and then anything else in this game DFS wise?
Yeah, I mean, Lipsy's a fine play. I can't really dog it too much. I get it. You lock him in cash, and then I think Turtle's approach in terms of coming underneath in tournaments makes sense. I'm not touching, no 6'1" Bob Jones or Momchilovich in this spot. So probably off most Iowa State, at least with the 80 team total in this spot, unfortunately.
And then for you, you're waiting and seeing on Jesse because of the matchup. I really hope that he plays big minutes, doesn't do well, and is like 7K next slate. All right, let's stay in conference. Go to BYU K-State. BYU laying a point on the road here, Gav, 146.5 total. The news here's Spencer Johnson. We're expecting him to play after missing the game. I think it was on Thursday. So full strength BYU favored on the road. What do you got here?
I don't even know if we know that Johnson is playing. I thought his wife is in labor or something like that. But
bro, they already had the baby.
But remember, this happened to the big man. This happened to Providence guy. They had the baby. He traveled and he didn't play.
Oh yeah, Oduro. Yeah.
What was up with that?
Mormons are built differently, Kurt. Come on.
It's a Mormon thing.
They're used to this. It's like clockwork.
I mean,
can we talk about that? Why did Drew play? I don't know. I don't know.
All that soaking builds character.
Yeah, this might be like his fourth kid. We have no idea. Sorry, Gav, get back at it.
That's this is the rematch of the 72-66 game in Provo. We bet that over. Shot quality had it well over, and it didn't make it over by about a possession on 71 possessions. So teams also shot 14 of 48 combined from three, 29%. I don't expect that to happen. BYU's off the home Baylor win. They also have the back-to-back Kansas road trip now. So they're going to go to Fog on Tuesday. They're 2-5 straight up on the road this year. And, 3-point percentage is a huge drop-off for Baylor on the road, or for BYU. A lot of shooting aggression. Like K-State's actually the second best defense in Big 12 play, ahead of Iowa State, which is just kind of crazy to think about. There's also a ton of positive shooting aggression for their opponents too. I mean, there's like a 8-point difference per game over K-State's last 7 or 8 games from what their opponents are scoring, from what shot quality has them. So BYU definitely has, shot making chops, especially from the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hoist them. So yeah, 10th highest catch and shoot rate versus K-State, 327th in defensive open three rate. So yeah, that's like Jackson Robinson, Trevin Nell, all these 3-point shooters on BYU definitely get a buff here in this spot.
Yeah, Kurt, BYU, another team, kind of tough to sift through their rotation, deep rotation, and it kind of changes from game to game, or it can based on matchup a bit. Any plays for you on the BYU side? And then K-State at home here, huge pace up against a team that doesn't guard you great. I kind of like the K-State pieces more. We got the top 3 there, Perry, Kaluma, Carter, have kind of been in play at their prices all season, it feels like. What do you think?
Yeah, so I don't really do the BYU thing much, but I'm higher on him. I'm higher on them than what the projections are. I know it's gonna be tough, but like Trevin Nell's gonna chuck Jackson Robinson. I'll probably rank it Nell, Robinson, Johnson. As far as the guard goes, I don't want to play the roulette with the forwards because I think Khalif is terrible and he just went off last game. But God, I hate that guy. If Fusini ever played a lot, man, he would be a fun roster. Sub 6K, I think if you were maxing, I think it is fun to at least get above the field on him just in case something happens. If one of their bigs get hurt, one of them foul trouble, he destroys the slate if he avoids fouls. So nice to have somewhat exposure in MME. For K-State, Carter or Perry are fine. I'm probably going to lean Perry. I just feel like I've been watching a lot, and Carter's been doing a lot of corner standing, which is, I don't know. I was kind of surprised by that. So give me Perry if you can find the 500. Just luxury plays, not any main, there probably will be a couple main team plays, but it's going to be decision-making time. Lipsky.
Yeah, interesting game here, Turtle. K-State, the top three are going to project pretty well, as it seems like they have for most of conference play. Picking the right guy between them, I've kind of just taken the approach to play the cheapest guy, as long as the matchup doesn't stand out or anything there. What are your thoughts on this one?
Do you all know why Cam Carter didn't play much last game? Day-Day Ames finally didn't foul. He played like 25, and it seems like Carter's minutes were just kind of cut down a bit.
I think there could be a hidden injury there because he's not been himself. He's like sitting in the corner. I think it could be a hidden injury.
I don't get a warm fuzzy with Cam. Yeah, I don't get a warm fuzzy with Cam Carter. Like, if people are going to play him, I'm fine just fully avoiding him. It seems like Tyler Perry's role and minutes are more secure. You are paying a bit more, but BYU guys, max one of me between like Spencer Johnson, Trevin Nell, Dallin Hall, Jackson Robinson, like tournament only too. I don't have a good grasp on their rotation.
Yeah.
My favorite play in this game might just be like taking your 9 or 10 points from Day-Day Ames at 3,500. I think this is possibly a slate where there's so many good studs that like you can survive a mediocre game from a cheap guy just to be able to play a bunch of those studs who have insane ceilings on this slate. So thinking through that, just like mid-range builds versus more stars and scrubs, I think Day-Day Ames is one of the guys you'd want to target for that scrub pool.
And you know what it does? Sorry, let me say one thing real quick before I lose my train of thought. But Day-Day Ames, going that cheap guy, if any other stuff opens up later on in the day, that's a 2 o'clock guy. So you have good swaps. So I like that call.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask that exact same question to Gav. Gav, Ames, been kind of flirting with playing him over the last couple of weeks. We thought that he could play more minutes if he didn't foul. And that's exactly what we saw last game, hitting 25 there. Thoughts on him and then anyone else in this game in play for you?
Yeah, when you win a seat with a negative, boy, I'm fine playing 3-5 and taking a 10 from him if I even get it. I think he's fine. I think Gasson in this spot as well. He's going to play 30 plus minutes. I don't know if he really has 35-40 type ceiling, just with how much usage goes to the main two guys especially, and then a little bit to Cam Carter, but Gasson definitely in the pool. I would probably rank him, price considered, probably a little bit behind Ames, but in front of Kaluma, behind Perry, in front of Carter.
All right, so you're on the studs. Are you Perry, Kaluma, Carter then?
I don't think so. I just haven't played many K-State guys all year, honestly. God, my guy Dallin Hall in a pretty paper thin matchup with a midget and Tyler Perry guarding him, puts up good peripherals. He's got some ceiling in him, some 30 plus ceiling, but I think he's pretty safe in this spot. I just haven't been playing the K-State guys. I think I'm going to be out on this because I'm going to probably be going above them for the 50 ceiling guys in the 8K range.
Yeah, same. I think Dallin Hall is my favorite play on BYU. All right, let's go to the ACC. BC at NC State. Another game they could have left off the slate. BC 87th at KenPom, NC State 75th. Gav, we got NC State -5, 149 total here. What do you got for us?
Yeah, BC off the loss at Florida State to get swept by them. This is a rematch of a game that was played on December 2nd. Like, if you look at your calendars, it's February 24th, and they're rematching. So
was that the game where like they played one conference game and then went away from conference play for 3 weeks and then came back?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
BC lost in overtime. NC State shot 44% from three versus BC's 28% at home. That had a lot to do with it. Mo Diarra, 8 and 18 that game. Mother of God. I don't know if I can predict that again, for this, but Big's been having their way against BC recently. NC State's gonna press 96th percentile frequency. BC 16th percentile press offense on a points per possession basis. Third worst defense in the ACC, ahead of Louisville and Georgia Tech. So this is a pretty good spot for NC State. But man, they've been in some dogfights. Their last 4 games have been decided by 4 or less. Their last 6 games by 6 or less. Both teams are going to run a ton through the post. NC State 10th highest frequency at the 25th efficiency versus BC's 38th. So that's probably the first place I look would be Bigs in this game.
Yeah, Kurt, we've seen Post have some huge games lately. Also some big foul games on the road. They are on the road here. Thoughts on Quentin Post and the rest of the DFS plays? We've seen DJ Horn take so many shots in the last couple games. I think 20+ in 2 straight off the top of my head. He's got a 36% shot share over their last 3 games. What do you got here?
The BC rotation is nice. The prices are like middling 6Ks. I'm probably not playing Post. Maybe a little bit in MME, but not any hand builds. 20% shot rate for Claudel Harris. NC State can have some up and down games. If he gets hot, he could get 30+. McLaughlin benefits on the boards if Post ever gets in foul trouble. 6,200. I don't hate that. Probably the only 2 I really like. For NC State, I'm not. God bless. 36% shot rate for Horn. He's just been chucking. Hill style. I can't do that. Diarra or Burns, probably keep them in the pool for MME, but no main team plays. Maybe if you fall on a last piece, that's the type of game this is. You take one of the mid 6K guys and pray they get you like 4K or 4X. But nothing I love.
Yeah, Turtle, the Mo Diarra box from the last time they played is pretty enticing. He's at 6K. The minutes were a bit down last game after playing 30+ in 2 straight. He had 26 without fouls last game. I just think that like he's more of a like 25 to 30, like low 30s, that he's going to be like jamming 33 each game. That's just kind of my read on it. What do you think there? And then DFS plays in this one.
Yeah, Mo Diarra is a core play for me on this slate. I think it's a great spot. I think he has more minutes upside. My theory is that he played last game versus Syracuse because they're so small. Really wasn't needed with big fat DJ Burns in there also. They'll need to size more this game. I think it lines up. This price fits a lot of different builds. Not much value, so I think he's someone in the mid-range who has a good floor-ceiling combination. So I'll have a lot of Diarra today. Post is fine. Don't love playing him on the road. Certainly not a main team play for me. So really just focusing on Diarra from this game. Plenty of other tournament looks, but yeah, Mo's my guy here.
Well, that's good to hear. I played him during the week. I was pretty concerned with the 26 minutes, but if it was a matchup thing and he bumps back up to low 30s,
it could also be an NC State thing, and he plays low 20s with no fouls. So there's a range of outcomes, but I think he's a guy who, at least even if his minutes get cut, he can still salvage a game with how productive he can be. So that's kind of why I like him.
Also, like in that range, if he does get you the low 30s, I think he just has more upside than most of the guys that are priced around him. So I like
exactly.
Gav, any thoughts there, and wrap up this game for us real quick?
Yeah, I think Mo's fine. Can I interest anybody in some Devin McLaughlin?
Yeah, I think he's good. Yeah,
isn't projecting. I think he's a good play in the spot, especially if you get away from Post to play other AK studs. If you're fading Post, then I think McLaughlin comes in pretty low owned, especially with how much I expect DR to be owned. So I think definitely being over him on the field. I think
I have McLaughlin at 6% just for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think that's a almost borderline main play for me. It's pretty close. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that his price had taken such a dive. He's down at 6.2. He was over 7K for a while, playing well. So I like that call. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go to the next game. Stay in the ACC. Duke at Wake. This team played about 2 weeks ago at Duke. It was a close one. Wake battled foul trouble that whole game. Gav, it is at Wake -2. I should have listened to you and waited before I bet Duke here. 151 total. I did take Duke. I just think they're on a different tier than Wake. And I'm not sure if there's anyone that's bet Wake more than you and I this season. So what do you got here?
We took it when they beat the fucking brakes off Pitt last game.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Shot quality had Wake Duke as an 84-77 Wake win. They went 6 of 26 from three. And watching the game, there were a lot of open threes too. They could have easily, competed a little bit more, if not won that game. So, yeah, Wake, this is a pretty predictable one of those spots that I knew bookmakers were just going to juice this spot to the hills because everyone's putting so much emphasis on, Wake needs this for their resume. It's their last Q1 opportunity, I think, of the year, so on and so forth. Since January 27th, here's my worry about Wake. They are sixth on Bart Torvik since January 27th, about a 7-game sample. It's also because they have 3 20-plus point covers, not win by 20, cover by 20. Versus Syracuse, Georgia Tech, and Pitt. So I think that's inflating their value a lot versus Duke being number 5 during that stretch, one spot ahead on a much more kind of consistent run. So tend to agree with you. I probably won't bet it because I've just been avoiding these kind of tax spots this year. I'll let others kind of pay the premium for the Wake spot.
Yeah, I'm on Duke here. So Kurt for DFS. Big decision, obviously. Kyle Filipowski has been bad for his price over about the last month, except for this Wake matchup where he crushed for 40+. What's your read on him here? And then any other plays in this game? We know exactly what we're getting from the Wake side as far as the rolls.
Yeah, so I had in cash, I'm just playing Filipowski and just kind of moving on. And then I had to lower his projection like crazy in Sabre because he was just hitting way too much. So I'm assuming I'm gonna be under the field and like large field stuff, but that's fine with me because I just with everyone healthy, like he's not been as aggressive. Now if he comes out here and is aggressive, then fine by me. But it just seems like he's wanting to let the other guys get involved and not really taking on just not going and actually being aggressive. So I think Proctor's a fun GPP play. Mitchell's fine, but on the Wake side, I really want to be overweight on Miller, Hildreth, and Reed. Probably won't take too much. Turtle, you have to tell me what their ownerships are, but I probably want to be a little bit overweight. I don't want to have more than one of them because that just seems sketchy. One probably going to bust hard, but I do like the 6K with Hildreth, Miller, or Reed. If Reed stays out of foul trouble, I think he crushes here, but it's not going to be an easy task, obviously, but I think he can do it.
Yeah, Turtle, we played multiple pieces against Duke early in the week, and it felt bad pretty much out of the gate. Duke, a better defensive team than people give them credit for. But these Wake guys continue to be pretty cheap. I haven't really played much Wake on a main team just because, it's tough to kind of sift through the guys. They're all the same price. They kind of haven't changed roles throughout the season. Do you have any read on that? And then your thoughts on Filipowski here and Duke?
Yeah, my favorite Wake guy is Efton Reed by a pretty large margin. The issue with him is just fouls. He gets pretty handsy. So it's probably just a tournament only play, but the price is nice at 6,300. Hildreth was 5,700 last slate, and he crushed. He's back up to mid sixes. So he's fine. I think all of these Wake guys will draw between 3 and 12% ownership. So, I mean, they're probably good tournament plays. I could see one of them getting there for sure. The bigger question mark, like you said, on the Duke side is how to handle Kyle Filipowski. His usage hasn't been down every game in the last month, but his overall production is he's under a fantasy point per minute over the last month, which is pretty shocking considering his rates typically. So it's just kind of an exercise you have to think through yourself whether you want how strongly do you want to weight recent term versus his long-term sample, which is pretty large at this point relative in college. So I think he's a solid play. It's concerning. This is a road game, and there's other options in the 8K, so he's probably a peg below some of the other 8K guys, but he's certainly in my pool, and there probably is a possibility I end up with him on my main team. I'm not quite sure yet, but he's a solid play. There's just definite warts to playing him today.
Yeah, like my issue is I like Khalil Ware more than him. I like Ace Baldwin more than him. Gav, your thoughts there? And then also my last thought on this, my note, Gav, Wake Forest is a 2-point favorite against what's going to be, a 1 or a 2 seed, and they're not currently projected in the field. This is ridiculous. We got to get Wake in the tournament.
Yeah, they'll probably sneak in. I think the analytics are starting to catch up with them. If you want like a Filipowski, I could be enticed in like a Filipowski 2+3s at like +225 against the Wake drop. But in terms of DFS, I don't know how much I love him in this spot. Just with, especially like when Proctor's back and everybody's been healthy. I mean, we've seen Mark Mitchell have huge games with Filipowski on the floor. So yeah, it's just kind of trending that way, and I think his name is going to draw ownership along with the price. So I'm definitely going to be under myself personally. But agreement on Reed. Fucking Hunter Salas took 20 shots in this game in Cameron. It made 10 of them, basically carried them offensively when everybody else was ice cold. 7-4. I don't hate it.
Yeah, this was that Monday slate where I played Salas in the 250Q, and I was the only one on him because he was like 8,500 in that game. We didn't talk about any Mark Mitchell here, Turtle. He crushed him last time. He's under 7K. I never really get to him, but the projection, at least for us, is pretty good. Do you like any Mark Mitchell here before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, he's like the classic like pivot playoff Filipowski at a savings. Like right now I have Filipowski 3 times the ownership as Mitchell. So certainly I'd be max one of those, and in tournaments, it's a 2:00 game. So like in lineups where you have Filipowski that didn't get off to a great start, I'd certainly sift through your lineups and consider like swapping to Mitchell and maybe upgrading another piece in that lineup to some other guy who has a bit more upside, because you save 1,300. So you certainly get an upgrade there. So I think he's interesting for tournaments. Mark Mitchell is definitely not someone I'd play in any of my main teams pretty much ever.
And in this slate, we do have some huge totals in that 2 p.m. window, like you said. Let's go to those totals here. Washington and Arizona is the first one out in Pac-12. Gavin Country. Zona laying 16 here. Damn it, Gavin. I was hoping to lay the wood with Arizona here coming off the Wazoo loss, but 16 is pretty stiff against Washington. What do you think here?
Yeah, Zona off the loss. Washington State zoned them at a pretty high rate and had good success doing it. Mike Hopkins is running zone at a lot less than he was last year, but he also ran 0 man possessions last year in Tucson. So it could be a lot more of the same, because if they don't run zone, like Arizona, top 5 near proximity rate, they're just getting to the rim at will or feeding it into Ballo. Like Ballo could absolutely just drop his balls on Washington today. It could be really ugly. But yeah, I mean, Washington almost melted at ASU. They were up 25 early in the second half on Thursday, and had a win in OT. So, yeah. The only way that Washington stands a chance here, they have to win from the 3-point arc, which they're 10th in the Pac-12 in percentage, which drops to 30% on the road, 269th nationwide. So, yeah, Tommy Lloyd, 9-5 ATS after a loss in his career, 9-5 to the over. So this could definitely be a Zona 100-point spot.
Yeah, Kurt, we've got the 15th and the 30th highest or fastest tempos in this game. This should get up and down. Ken Palm's got it 90 to 76. Do you like anything DFS wise here, Kurt?
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna have a rule. I want at least one Zona guy. Johnson, Ballo, Caleb Love. I really don't trust anyone else, but I'll see what the projections hit for me. But I at least want one. For Washington, no one's probably playing FanDuel, but Corin Johnson was free over there. It's priced up a little bit now where you had to make the decision, but man, he's been playing really well. 6'4" is a lot. Probably only a game stack piece for me. Severe Wheeler feels like a good floor, but mostly just want to focus on Arizona here because they did price Washington pretty appropriately. Yeah. Like, I mean, definitely they priced up Braxton Mia, who's going to get in foul trouble. We're going to see a lot of goggles just getting absolutely dick fucked by Ballo probably. I mean, it sucks. I feel bad for the guy, but those goggles are going to be wet with ball sweat today. Good Lord. tough. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one though.
Oh man, Turtle. My take on Washington is that the studs, like I think their ceiling's getting hurt by Corin Johnson just taking so much usage with this kind of new role that he's got. I think I'm going to be more on the Arizona side here. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, that kind of sent me into a frenzy. My model's not equipped to handle ball sweat, so I really don't know what to do here.
Rerun it.
No, I think this is like a huge just like bounce back spot for Arizona, and they totally plaster them. All these Braxton Mia people, I hope you click them in today. Get what you actually deserve. Tired of that guy. I don't know. Arizona pieces are great, but they are pretty fully priced. So if you get a runaway game, like they certainly have depth to rotate in. So this is not really a max minute spot. So I want to be careful how many Arizona I play.
Yeah.
Like Shaw Johnson has a good price tag. Question for Gavin, like if Hopkins zones them, is Keyshawn Johnson gonna like play in the high post much, or like how do you think that changes like offensively for Arizona?
I think they'll still play a 4-round one, and Ballo just decimates.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Arizona. If Washington zones him and Arizona shoots him out in the first, 10 minutes of the game, we might not see it much the rest of the game.
Yeah. I mean, we know. I think everyone's pretty certain here. Arizona's going to put up a lot of points today. It's just how does the game go? Not quite sure. Ballo is probably my favorite spin on Arizona because I do agree with that. Like I don't see anyone on Washington that can kind of rein him in.
Yeah, I think Ballo's the best play here. My only concern is the blowout, right? Like we've seen him play low 20s in their blowouts, but also they could blow out because he has 22 and 15, So Ballo is my favorite play here. I like Kashad Johnson. I'm probably staying away from Washington, at least on the main team. I think they're more game stack pieces there.
If Washington like keeps it close, like this is fireworks. So if you want to play like a Keon Brooks, like I'd play like 2 Arizona on the other side.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like if you're playing a Washington piece, I would play 2 Arizona probably because that's how this gets there. Gavin, any last thoughts here?
KJ or Krivas interest?
If he's playing the blowout route,
he's 4,500. Like if he was 3,500, like I'd be all about that life.
Yeah.
We just got sorry, Gav. We just got news that Jalen Graham and Brazil are warming up.
Holy shit! Well, okay. The only other thing I would add, Corin Johnson, 63 points in his last 3 games. It was also against the 8th, 9th, and 10th rated defenses in the Pac-12. Zona's first in the conference and 13th nationally, and now he's on the road. Like it could be Corin going 3 of 16 from the field this game.
Yeah, I could see that, and I hope he picks up some ownership. Him and Mia Turtle. This is when it comes crashing down. All right, let's move on. We got two games left. We got to speed through these 2. We got a great one here though that we do have to spend some time on, I guess. Iowa at Illinois, Big Ten. Illinois -9.5, 167.5 total here, Gav. Monster total, highest on the slate. We know Iowa games love to get up and down. Illinois off the Penn State melt game that Terry Shannon just destroyed the slate. What do you got here?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot for Illinois because, that loss, the fluky loss, really keeps them out of contention for first in the Big Ten. So is this a circle the wagons spot? We just got beat. Let's all, pull together kind of situation? Or is it let's just get through the rest of the season and get on to the postseason type of thing? Regardless, I think there's going to be, a lot of points. Iowa's definitely equipped to beat Illinois. Like you don't beat Illinois by running 4 guards, with their switchability 1 through 5. You got to really bludgeon them inside. So if it's Cricky, if it's Owen Freeman, I actually took a Owen Freeman 18 plus points alt prop, just small. Like if he doesn't foul, he has that opportunity, but I just think he's a terrible guy to bet a -115 prop on just with that variance. But yeah, Terry Shannon, I said it before, but the worry is that he doesn't get to the foul line as much in this game. We'll see plenty of transition. So, maybe the option for Iowa is foul him or get absolutely yammed on, in which case they foul him. But I think that's my worry here, where the rebounds haven't always been as steady. He might not get 12 extra points from the free throw line. I may actually be off Terry Shannon this slate, as crazy as that sounds.
That does sound crazy. I was off Terry Shannon last slate turtle when I said that he wasn't jamming the peripherals and he had like 12 boards right on my ass. Kurt, let's go to you here. Iowa pieces. Illinois has got 3 studs. What do you like best here?
Freeman, God, the fouls are just so tilting to pay $8K for. I know he could absolutely smash, but I think it's probably Sanford or Perkins here. I think it's a fun game to play. Like if it goes back and forth, you play like an Illinois piece, one of the big 3 there, and then you run it back with an Iowa piece and maybe another Iowa piece probably. But I'll trust the projections. Lean Perkins here as a priority play in this game, and then just not many other main team plays besides him, unless you want to do Sanford instead of him. I'm not
an
playing
absolute lock that Kurt was going to pronounce Illinois, by the way.
Illinois.
You don't say the S at the end of Illinois.
Hurricane.
So, Turtle, bunch of plays here, bunch of expensive plays, but we got a near 170 total. Can you sift through the Iowa studs here and the Illinois studs? Different price points for the Illinois studs. We got Terry up to 9K with Hawkins and Damast in the mid 7s.
Yeah, not really any cheap guys I like in this game. So really it's just like the top 2 for each team that I'll have in my pool, like Perkins and Sanford on the Iowa side. Perkins, the guy projecting well. He's not a guy I typically play. Kind of some sticker shock at 7,300. So I was surprised he was projecting that well, and I was being a little bit conservative on minutes. I think it's probably just a pretty good game environment. But I like Sanford a bit more, even though they probably have similar ceilings. So I'd probably be max 1 Perkins and Sanford, and then max 1 like Terry Shannon and Coleman Hawkins. And that's how I'd play this game. I like Shannon quite a bit. It's just the price tag is tough to fit in on the slate, but he's a guy who's hell in transition, and he'll get plenty of transition opportunities against Iowa today. They press pretty frequent. At pretty low points per possession on transition. So I like Shannon. He's drawing 7.1 fouls for 40. It's hard to poke any holes in, and it's just the price tag, 8,900. Can you fit that? Right. If so, definitely play him. I wouldn't play Shannon and Hawkins together, but I think Hawkins is a pretty interesting pivot. Someone who had a down game last game.
Yeah, I like Coleman Hawkins here, Gav, at that price tag. Do you have any favorites between the Illinois studs and the Iowa studs?
Perkins is safe-ish. Hawkins is going to be more GPP. He's such a fucking doofus. Like, he literally lost in the game against Penn State with that dumbass foul. I wouldn't be surprised if Guerrier 20 minutes in this spot. Like,
you keep trying to make Guerrier happen.
No, I'm just saying he's not going to play in a game where Penn State runs pretty small. Michigan is Iowa's a true 2 big team. I think he could sneak in and get some minutes here. So I'd mix him in GPP, but I'm probably out on every time I've been out on Sanford, he just hits like 7 threes. So I'd probably still rank him Shannon 1, Perkins 2, Sanford 3, Hawkins 4.
Okay. All right, let's wrap up with this last game. Cincy at TCU. TCU minus 4.5, 146.5 total here. Yeah, let's be speedy on this one.
Yeah, not a ton here. Rematch of the 81-77 game. TCU won in Cincy. TCU had 18 offensive rebounds and shot 44% from 3 to win an OT. So that's pretty fortuitous. I don't know if I'd foresee that to happen again. But Ernest Uday missing last game, I think definitely opens up some spots.
Yeah, that was a big piece of news on the last slate. Kurt, Uday missing. This is the last lock of this slate, so we probably won't know. I'm gonna look deeper into it after this show here. Any thoughts on this game? Emmanuel Miller in the low 7s is always a good play. Jameer Nelson has played really, really well since entering the starting 5. I like his price at 6K a ton.
Yeah, I think that 6K is nice. I think he's, like we mentioned earlier, earlier this week, he's starting to get confidence. I think he has a great floor. The only main team play for me is probably Skillings here, but I have to, out of respect, the last time I touted Day Thomas and court him, it was against this TCU team, and he absolutely went bonkers shooting and had like 3 steals. 5,500 again is starting to lose some minutes like to Newman, but look, if the shots are falling, he can do it. He can get it done in 26 minutes. So I'll have him in the player pool, maybe even one of my like 3rd or 4th hand bills too. Day Thomas, Mr. Chuck, please go in.
Turtle, I haven't gotten Cincy right much. It's hard for me to wrap my head around 7.2K Dan Skillings. Thoughts on him, and then the TCU side with the news. How are you going to play that going in?
Skillings is in my tournament pool. I think he's a fine play, pretty safe. TCU side, Jameer Nelson's a core play for me today. I think great price. And then Mustafa is one of those 3.5 guys that are in the punt pool for me today. I don't know. I mean, there's not really much to say. If Uday's out, like he might play, and he's been productive when he does play. So it's not a safe thing, but he's someone I'm keeping my eye on in that late window. I think that we're going to good luck if you click him. You might get stuck on him.
Yeah. I will say it seems like we're all going to have a decent amount of PMR in that late window. So you might have enough to kind of maneuver around if we get the news that Uday's out.
Yeah, but this is an island game 45 minutes after the Illinois lock.
Oh, shit, that's right. Well, we're probably screwed then.
I mean, just understand if you click Mustafa, there's a chance like he might not even play today. So
yeah. All right, Gav, let's wrap up this game. I think Jameer Nelson's by far the favorite play in this game, and then I will always have some Emmanuel Miller personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I get it. I don't really have much more to add. I thought that Cork might have gotten some minutes, played 5 with Uday out. Like that's bad.
He fouled immediately and then just got stapled to the bench
and just never even saw it.
Some heavy staples.
No Chuck O'Bannon interest. I think he might mix him in, but he's just in the scrub pool as like a secondary scrub play. I would say I don't have much more to add on these guys.
Yeah. All right. We went long. Let's wrap up with some final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. Kurt, we'll start with you. Overall final slate thoughts, and then give us your play of the day here.
Overall slate thoughts, probably one of my least favorite Saturday slates we've had. I don't love it all. I don't really like the matchups. Usually there's like 2 or 3 games I really love. Not too much here. Play of the day I'm going to go Tyron Lawrence. Maybe I just run and go with these Vandy guys one more time.
Well, that would be the first time that I ran good with Vandy guys all season. Turtle, we'll go to you next. Just overall slate thoughts going in, and then your favorite play of the day, like tournament play.
Yeah. By the way, Minifield's warming up also for Arkansas.
Oh my God, what a disaster!
Yeah, so you're welcome.
This is good, actually.
Overall slate thoughts. I think it's a slate where you can take some chances on 3K guys that don't need to do much, because there will be studs on the slate that absolutely nuke. That's not always the case. I just feel very good that we're going to see some 45, 50s from 8 and 9K guys. So you don't even necessarily need to get much from the punts on the slate. My favorite play of the day is Mo Diarra, 6,100, NC State.
All right, Gav, we'll go to you. What do you got here? Overall slate thoughts and play of the day.
I was going to echo what Turtle said. Boy, just jam the value. Just do it. God, we felt so good about value a couple slates ago when the Miami dues opened up and it all just shit the bed. But yeah, there's multiple 50s lurking up top. I think the way you get unique in this slate too is just play some of the lower owned studs that are going to be sub 10% owned. Maybe like sub 15, sub 20-ish. So I will take that as play of the day. I will not be making a lineup without Umar Bala today under any circumstance, blowout or not. That's just where I'm at.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that low 8K range is stacked today. I'm going to echo the same thing. I think you want multiple of these low 8K guys. There's good plays in the mid-range. We touched on a couple of them if you want to rewind and check that out. My play of the day is going to be Ace Baldwin. I think he gets a bunch of steals here. This could be like a double game with 5+ steals for Ace Baldwin. All right, that is the slate. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Turtle, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Check out his stuff on ETR. He is going to be doing a package for the NCAA tournament. I believe it's $100 for the whole tournament. I told him it's way too cheap. I will definitely be buying it. So check that out. And then Kurt, Gavin, we'll see you next Saturday. Let's get some more seats before the next Saturday show from this panel here. For Kurt, for Turtle, for Gavin, I'm Steve. Good luck today.